All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another Authors Impact Hub podcast episode. I am your host, Juanita Woodson, and I am joined today by Dr. Velma Bagby. So, of course, as you know, always allow the authors to do their own introduction. So, I am going to pass it over to you. If you can, just in 60 seconds, just introduce yourself. Don't tell too much because, of course, we're going to get into our Q&A and we'll have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about who you are and your work.
So I am Dr. Velma Bagby. I'm a media personality, a ordained minister, speaker, trainer, singer, songwriter, contributing writer of a magazine, and author. A wife of 50 plus years as of next month.
Okay. Yes. Well, congratulations early.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So you've written 27 books, right?
Yeah.
So what keeps you coming back to writing?
Well, first of all, people might consider me a late bloomer because I started writing at 64. So just 7 years ago is when I
Okay.
started after retirement. But I just felt like I had a calling to write about a particular subject because I started out writing about dating, relationships, and marriage, and that really took off. It resonated with a lot of people, and so from there, other books along the way evolved.
Okay. Now, listen, I'm going to say this because we will have some people who may just tune in to the audio version on like Spotify, Apple. You're going to want to go and check the video out on YouTube because, ma'am, you said 64. You started writing at 64?
7 years ago.
No, ma'am. You look amazing for your age. I just wanted
Oh, that's so
to.
sweet of you. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So, can you tell us the title of the book that we are going to be talking about today?
It's called Following Esther's Process to Purification, Restoration, and Purpose. It's a 30-day devotional journal.
Okay. All right. So, what inspired following Esther's process to purification, restoration, and purpose?
Well, I said I started out writing about dating, relationships, and marriage, and having been blessed with so many years, like I said, 52 next month. When I started out, I knew that was what I needed to write about, just so that I can help inspire other people who are pursuing, a lifelong marriage. And I just happened to last year read over Esther's story, and it hit me that something that had not been talked about regarding her story, even as I was growing up as a believer. Everybody talked about Esther as preparing herself to marry a king. Well, it really was more than that. It's a symbol, it had symbolism attached to it. It's a symbol of how we prepare ourselves for the
Mhm.
King of Kings. Because no man cares if you purify for she did it 6 months, and then she did, restoration for another 6 months. No human being even cares about that, but God does. And so that was the reason I said I really need to talk about the symbols of what she did.
Yes, I love that. Okay. So, what does purification look like in everyday life?
It is something I've been talking about every Saturday on my podcast, Dr. Velma Talks. I take each day of the journal, and I'm talking about a particular piece. Purification is simply just getting rid of, Paul says, getting rid of the weight and the sin. He separated the two things because sometimes we're weighty, not because of sin, but stuff we choose to carry around that slows down a runner in a race. Same thing with sin. And so all of those things prevent us from really establishing a solid relationship with the Lord. And so purification begins with repentance because that means we're letting go of stuff we should not be carrying.
Yes, absolutely. So, what mindset shift is necessary for true restoration?
Just being humble, just knowing that God is the judge of everything concerning whether or not we need to do something, not do something, and really just to humble ourselves and accept what He's pointing out. Because to be honest, I had to go back to day one and add something to the list that God showed me in just interacting with something on the TV, and I blurted out something. It was criticism, and bing. So
Okay.
I talk about subtle sins, the things that we don't talk. We know the big ones, but the subtle ones are the ones that sneak in and captivate us. And that's what I talk about.
I love your honesty, yes, because we don't think about like those small things, right?
Mm-mm.
That we we have to daily
Yep,
digest that, right? Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, so how does this 30-day devotional help readers move from reflection to action?
In the book, there is a section that's called Reflection, where I help you to talk, to look at some things. And like I said, just because day one has passed and I may be talking about day four or day five, doesn't mean that something might resonate with you and you have to go back to day one and add something. So really, it's just about walk. It's a walk. You just walk through it. It's not that you're going to know everything the very first time. And sometimes it may be a second time you go through the book the following year and you say, "Oh, how did I miss this? Let me
Yeah.
go ahead and write this down." But it's a, we're living it every day. We're experiencing it every day, and it's always room for us to change and do better.
Yes, absolutely. Life is definitely a journey. We learn something new about ourselves every single
Absolutely. Yes.
day. So you speak about finding your voice, right? So
Mhm.
what do you think is one of the things that holds most authors back?
In the beginning for me, excuse me, allergies kicking in, excuse me. In the beginning for me, that's my story, my journey, and I felt like other people needed to hear about it and know about it and then provide them with some tips that would help them along the way that I didn't have in the beginning. I wrote for government. I was a deputy administrator for state government, and so I was writing and designing all the time. So I was ready to put that stuff in a box saying retired when I retired. But
Okay.
God was saying, no, I need you to write about this. People need to know what you've learned about dating, relationship, and marriage. So, in finding your voice, I talk about that moment for me because in corporate, it's their voice, not yours. It's
Right.
everything you write about, talk about, discuss in a meeting. It's their voice, not yours. And so, stepping away from that, I had to discover, okay, how do I want to say what I've been given to do? What approach should I take? And it took me a minute to really figure it out. And then I wasn't familiar with the literary world, understanding the rules concerning nonfiction versus fiction, all of that. I had to learn that. And so that was part of my discovery is finding my voice. And so I say research, which is what I did, looking at the genre I was going to be writing in and making sure I understood it. And so that's what I did.
Absolutely. So then which one of your books then stretched you most as a writer?
It would be the 5 book series you see above my head, the Catch series, which is the series about dating, relationships, and marriage. The very first book I wrote about conversations between myself and my adult daughter. So it was nonfiction, which is what we gravitate towards as Christians. And I knew I wanted to reach a wider audience, people who may not be familiar with what God says in His Word, but still the truth is the truth, and they need to have it. And so that's when I decided, okay, Christian contemporary fiction is really the genre I should be in so that it reaches everybody. And then I just wrestle with it. Finally read a blog post by a Christian friend of mine, and she just happened to say, "Did you know that Jesus wrote over 50 parables? Those are fictional stories." And as soon as I read those words, the light bulb went off. Wait a minute. I had never heard anyone describe the parables as fictional stories, which is what they were. He didn't want to be hard on anybody or tell you, hit you upside the head and say, "That's you. You need to change." No, he just simply told a story, weaved into the story what he knows would resonate with the person, and then provided a way of escape or a way to change in that story. I said, that's what I need to do. So I spent my time writing that book and weaving those stories based on how the parables were written.
Right. Yes. So how has and kind of answer that next question, how has your personal testimony shaped the way you write and teach?
That's my testimony. I didn't want to just write to one population, well versed in scripture. That's every minister, everybody, every deacon, everybody's prepared for those offices. I wanted to write for the person who wanted to learn and know more, who may not know a scripture reference, but still the story and everything that's weaved into it applies to them as well. So that was really my whole goal. And I was shocked with the response. There were women who said to me, "Where were those fish?" Because I used a fish as an analogy. The catfish who loves garbage in the dating stories, the sturgeon who likes to nibble and move on, and then the catfish, all of those guys, those fish represented guys. And women asked, where were all those fish when I was dating? I dated all those fish in this book.
Huh?
So it really took off. So that's why it's 5 books now.
Yes. So you've expanded the book series into a podcast, right? You have a podcast as well. So
Hmm.
tell us a little bit about your podcast. How did you birth that?
During the time that I was writing, I was already blogging and posting. I knew that I needed to tell the story of what I knew and share it with the world basically. So I was posting all the time on Facebook and sharing stuff even before I started writing. And so I just felt like it was important for me to take that next step. And I, I'm drawing a blank now. I'm so excited to be here. Ask me the question again.
You're fine. So what led you to expand the book series into a podcast?
That's it. Okay. Dr. Velma Talks is the podcast, and that's where I wanted to talk about dating, relationships, and marriage. But I wanted people to see me so that they can relate to me and see that I'm a human being. I can be honest, and I try to be as transparent as possible with what I've experienced and what I've gone through. So that was the whole reason for the podcast. I've been talking about it a little bit even before I started writing, but I knew that was the next step for me.
Yeah. Do you ever have your husband join you on the podcast?
Yes, he has, but he's not a public figure. He never liked that at all. I mean,
Okay.
he was a minister and he had his own church for a moment, but standing, doing what I'm doing, it's not something he loves. But occasionally, when he comes on board, I recently wrote a song for him
Okay.
as a celebration for our 52 years together. Our favorite love stories and love songs was from the 70s, and we just don't hear those kind of love songs
Yeah.
anymore. So my song was about us, and I wrote that for him, and I made sure he came on. We did a live to share the song with everybody on Facebook, and so he was on for that.
I
So he
love,
enjoyed it.
I love that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So what lesson from the Esther process surprised you personally?
I think as I talk about like I said from day one, I'm never at that place where I'm not benefiting from what I've been given to talk about. So
Mm,
if it's something about subtle sins, I think that's what I talked about in the beginning. We don't even say the word sin anymore among believers, and we definitely are not going to talk about the big major sins at all. So I address the subtle ones, the ones that a book calls respectable sins, because it's a part of our lives every day, and we don't recognize that it's a sin. And so I address those, the things that slip in that you just don't notice. And so I think that's what's important to me for us to really see.
yes, ma'am. So with 22 bestsellers, that is amazing. What do you believe builds lasting author authority?
I think just simply speaking your truth, whatever you've been assigned to do, don't move away from that. Be true to who you are. There's an audience and something that a Christian marketing teacher told me in the very beginning. There's an audience waiting for you. If we can just accept that, there's no competition in this. Because I looked at the romance and marriage genre, and it was flooded with books, over 50,000. I'm going, well, what, God, what do you want me to write about and talk about? There's so many. But you have to understand there's a group just for you.
Just
There's
for
waiting for you, your voice and what you have to say. And so, therefore, write it, do it.
you. Yes, I love the bread aisle analogy. I often share that with my clients, right? If you think about like walk into Walmart or whatever your
Hmm.
grocery store preference is, and you walk into the bread aisle, right? Think
Hmm.
about how many different brands of bread,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
There is someone going in there specifically for a certain brand.
one brand. Yep.
Write the book.
And they don't care. They're on the shelf. They're not competing with each other.
No, they are not competing with each other. They at
Hmm.
all. They are there for a specific
That's right.
reason, a specific purpose. So
Right.
absolutely. Yes.
Hmm.
So what encouragement would you give faith-based authors who feel hesitant?
Um, my encouragement would be that something that Les Brown said years ago, and he said the graveyard is full of very prominent, rich wisdom, lots of money, because business ideas have gone to the grave. Ideas like writing a book and storytelling has gone to the grave
Mm,
that many people would have benefited from. So don't let whatever it is God has given you to do die. Get
yeah.
out there and do it. You're living and breathing. You still have an opportunity. Somebody needs to hear what you have to say.
Yes, absolutely. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Velma, for taking this time out and sharing about your book. I know there is definitely more to come. So how can viewers connect with you on social media and how can we get copies of your books?
My books are available on Amazon under drvelmabagby.com. If you'd like an autographed copy, of course, you can always connect with me on my website, drvelmabagby.com. My podcasts are only aired on my YouTube channel. So I used to put them on Facebook and every place, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just directing everybody to my YouTube channel, and that's Dr. Velma Bagby. So feel free to connect. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can get reminders when that podcast hits. So I'm only on day 2 now, so you can walk with me through the whole 30 days. Every Saturday, we're gonna discuss one day at a time.
I love it. Yes. So I always end the show with this last question, and that is, so what impact do you want your book and your work to leave on the world?
I think I kind of said it in terms of if something I've written resonates to somebody or with them, if it touches somebody, if somebody says, yeah, I'm glad I read that, then I feel like my job was done.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
once again, thank you so much for taking this time out. I have enjoyed this conversation. And with all the writing that you're doing, I know this will not be the last time that we will have you on the Authors Impact Hub
Aw,
podcast. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
looking forward to it.
Yes, absolutely. So, viewers, make sure that you go and connect with Dr. Velma on her social media. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube for sure. She has some amazing things going on. And of course, make sure you stay connected with the Authors Impact Hub podcast. We have some more great interviews on the way. Until next time, take care.